The road is a lonely place, especially at night. Just you, the hum of the engine, and miles of dark asphalt stretching into nothing. I'm Leo, and I've been driving big rigs for 20 years. I've seen it all, or so I thought. I've crossed deserts under a million stars and climbed mountains so high the air gets thin. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for that one night on a forgotten stretch of road they used to call Route 47. It started with a bad accident on the I-80. A 5-hour delay, minimum. The dispatcher was breathing down my neck. This shipment of produce had to be in Chicago by dawn. I was stuck, fuming, when I overheard an old-timer at the truck stop talking to another driver. He mentioned a shortcut, an old highway that ran parallel to the interstate. Route 47, he'd said, a strange look in his eyes. Ain't on the new maps, but it'll shave hours off your trip, if you can find it. Desperation makes you do stupid things. I pulled out my old paper atlas, the one my dad gave me, and there it was. A faint spidery line labeled US 47. It looked like it hadn't been updated since the 70s. The turnoff was just a few miles back. An unmarked dirt road that quickly turned into cracked, neglected pavement. The sign for Route 47 was there, all right, but it was riddled with rust and bullet holes hanging from one bolt like a condemned man on a gallows. The first 10 miles were fine. Eerie, but fine. The road was narrow, flanked by dense, dark woods that seemed to swallow the beams of my headlights. There were no other cars, no signs of life. Just me and my 18-wheeler rumbling through the quiet darkness. Then the fog started to roll in. Not your usual patchy fog, but a thick, soupy wall of white that descended so fast it felt like the sky was falling. Visibility dropped to near zero. I slowed to a crawl, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. That's when I saw the first mile marker. Mile 23. A simple, rusted green sign. I kept driving, my eyes glued to the white line on the edge of the road, the only thing keeping me from plunging into the trees. It felt like an eternity, but eventually another sign emerged from the mist. Mile 23. I blinked. Must have misread the first one. It was dark. The fog was thick. Easy mistake. I pushed on, the anxiety in my chest tightening like a fist. The road was straight, no turns, no exits. Just this endless, suffocating tunnel of white. Then, another sign. Mile 23. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a mistake. I slammed on the brakes, the truck groaning in protest. I was in a loop. I had to be. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I checked my GPS. No signal. Of course, my phone. Same thing. The CB radio? Just static. A dead, hissing void that felt more terrifying than any scream. It was just me, my rig, and this road that wouldn't let me go. I decided to keep driving. What else could I do? Stopping felt like surrender. Maybe if I just pushed through, I'd break the cycle. The fog seemed to get thicker, pressing in on the cab. And then the whispers started. At first, I thought it was the radio, some stray signal cutting through the static, but it wasn't coming from the speakers. It was all around me in the air, seeming to seep through the very metal of the truck. Faint, desperate voices. "Help me," one seemed to cry. "I can't get out," another moaned. I tried to ignore them, cranking up my own music, but the whispers just slithered underneath the melody. They were getting clearer. I could almost make out full sentences, fragments of conversations. A woman humming a lullaby, a man cursing the fog, a child asking if they were there yet. These weren't just sounds, they were echoes. Echoes of people who had driven this road before me. Another mile marker appeared, mile 23. This time, there was something else. A figure standing by the side of the road. A man in a drenched 1950s-style suit, holding a briefcase. He didn't have a thumb out, he just stood there, his face obscured by the fog, watching me pass. I floored it, my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of despair. The loop continued. Mile 23 again and again. Each time something new appeared in the fog. A stalled-out station wagon from the 80s, its doors wide open. a child's teddy bear lying on the pavement beside it. A group of teenagers in bell-bottoms, huddled around a dead fire, their faces pale and gaunt. A lone woman in a wedding dress, walking slowly in the middle of the road, her veil trailing behind her like a ghost. They never moved, never tried to flag me down. They were just there. Frozen moments of tragedy, playing out for an audience of one. The temperature in the cab plummeted. I could see my breath even with the heater blasting. A cold, damp chill settled deep in my bones. I realized what was happening. Route 47 wasn't just a road, it was a trap, a purgatory for lost souls. And these figures, they weren't ghosts in the traditional sense. They were memories, imprinted on the very asphalt, stuck in their own final desperate moments. They were the travelers who never made it out. Fear gave way to a chilling understanding. This road fed on despair. It caught you, disoriented you, and then slowly wore you down until you became another one of its roadside attractions. The whispers weren't just echoes, they were warnings and temptations. The child's voice grew louder. "Are we there yet, Daddy?" it pleaded, sounding just like my own daughter, miles and miles away. A lump formed in my throat. I had to get out of here. I remembered something the old-timer had said, a detail I'd dismissed. "The road doesn't like speed," he'd mumbled, "but it hates a full stop even more." A full stop. Surrender. That's what they did. The man with the stalled car, the woman who lost her way. They stopped, they gave up. That was the key, you had to keep moving no matter what. I looked at my fuel gauge. A little less than half a tank, enough for a few more hours at least. I formulated a desperate plan. I couldn't go forward, but what about backward? The road was narrow, but I was a damn good driver. It was a crazy risk. Jackknifing a rig this size on a narrow road in thick fog was a death sentence. But staying here was a worse one. I took a deep breath, killed the engine, and listened. The silence was absolute. The whispers stopped. The fog seemed to hold its breath. For a terrifying second, I thought I'd made a fatal mistake. Then, I turned the key. The engine roared back to life, a defiant growl in the oppressive quiet. I put the truck in reverse. Backing up an 18-wheeler is hard on a good day. In these conditions, it was a nightmare. I used my side mirrors, but they just reflected the same swirling void. I had to rely on instinct, on the feel of the tires on the pavement. The whispers came back, louder now, angrier. Screams, wails. The road was fighting me. It didn't want to let me go. I saw them again in my mirrors, the apparitions. The man in the suit, the family wagon, the bride. This time they were closer. They were moving toward me, their slow, shambling gaits becoming more urgent. Their faces were clearer now, twisted in anguish and a terrifying, hungry longing. They wanted me to join them. Mile marker 23, in reverse. Then another, and another. The numbers weren't changing. The road was trying to confuse me, to turn me around. But I focused on one thing, the feel of the tires on the asphalt keeping them straight. I ignored the faces in the fog, the hands that seemed to press against my windows, the voices calling my name. Suddenly, I felt a jolt. The rear tires hit a different surface. Dirt. I looked in my mirror and saw it, the rusty, bullet-riddled sign for Route 47. I was at the entrance. I had made it. Without a second's hesitation, I slammed the gear shift into first, wrenched the wheel, and peeled out, mud and gravel flying. I didn't look back. I hit the interstate and merged with the flow of traffic, the familiar lights and sounds of other trucks a balm to my shattered nerves. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. The sun was starting to rise, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was the most beautiful sunrise I had ever seen. I never told the dispatcher why I was late. What could I say? I delivered the produce, collected my pay, and headed straight home. I don't drive that route anymore. I take the long way around now, no matter the delay. Sometimes on a quiet night when the fog rolls in, I can still hear them. The whispers on the edge of the silence, a faint reminder of the souls still traveling on Route 47. A road that takes you nowhere and never lets you leave.